The Tactician is your battlefield commander. They're a weapons master. They have a grasp of tactics, and they can support their allies by giving them buffs and directing them across the battlefield. The Tactician is pretty cool. It's the closest you'll get in Draw Steel to a mundane character, by which they're just merely epic and not necessarily supernaturally so. I think the vibe they talked about for this class was kind of Captain America or Hercules. That the idea that you grow in power, but you're still somewhat human at the end. You're not twisting the universe around you, but you're staying relevant, you're staying impactful, and part of that is this effect they have on their allies. So the Tactician is using Focus as their heroic resource, which they get 2 per turn, and then they get by allies doing things like using heroic abilities or attacking their marked target. So their mark is their other unique feature, or one of their unique features, and it's basically a condition they can put on a target, and it gives everyone an edge to attack them, and the Tactician can also spend Focus to inflict, not to inflict additional, to grant additional benefits to their allies who are attacking that target. So maybe they give the person attacking the target a recovery as well as the edge they automatically get. Maybe they give them extra damage, that kind of thing. They also are the kind of weapons master class. So they have an ability called Field Arsenal, or a feature called Field Arsenal, which lets them pick 2 kits rather than 1, and they get to pick the best benefits of both. So if one's plus 12 stamina, one's plus 3, they get the plus 12. There's a lot of mix and matching goes on, so typically people will pick 2 kits that are sort of covering different bases. So you get, speed and range from one, and you get melee damage and stability and health from the other. But there's those people who don't. They pick some that are similar and just want to make sure that they have 2 cool abilities, because the Tactician doesn't get signature abilities from its class at all. They get them 1 from each kit, which is kind of cool. As they level up, they get more sort of battlefield command abilities, and also some outside of combat abilities where they can lead negotiations or help with montage tests. This just reinforces this idea of like a support character. They do decent damage, but they're definitely more of a tank or a support. One of the subclasses, the Vanguard, very much leans into that tanky side. They've got a parry that can reduce incoming damage, and they're that kind of like leads from the front, charges in kind of hero. That's rewarded for them. There's also the Insurgent, who's a kind of a guerrilla fighter. They are good at being sneaky, at giving their allies some extra damage with their triggered action. And lastly, there's the Mastermind, who's this sort of like master strategist, kind of oversees the battlefield. Their triggered action can kind of stop an enemy in their tracks, and they can let their allies make an attack against the target as well. So they're the most kind of supporty, right through to the Vanguard being the most tanky, and the Insurgent, I would say, is kind of somewhere in the middle, with maybe a little bit more of a damage boosting capacity. They're all really cool, and they all fulfill that fantasy in different ways. So characters, touchstones for the Tactician, I would say Aragorn, for all he's narratively a ranger. He very much is a leader amongst the characters. He's not necessarily as ridiculously, death dealing as Legolas, or even Gimli, but he inspires people. He keeps them going, and knows what to say at the right time most of the time. The Tactician is a really cool cast. Check it out.